Welcome back to Gingerdor and Hufflepoof.
Or, welcome to the first episode
Well, whatever.
of Gingerdor and of
Hufflepoof.
Gingerdor and Hufflepoof. I'm obviously not the Gingerdor.
It's obvious who is who, I hope.
But for any of the idiots in the audience,
Gingerdor, Hufflepoof. So what's new with you? What is your... We're going to start off with your recent disasters of your life. Any updates to give us?
I mean, I was like attacked by a rabid squirrel the other day in my backyard, so that was like an eye-opening experience.
Interesting. You want to elaborate on that one?
No.
No. No, it was just, just rabbit squirrel.
I mean, I was just like taking my groceries into the house, like I always do when I buy groceries, and
as one does,
this very enormous, large black squirrel decided that it would accost me.
It is quite large.
It is quite large. And I mean, I like large things, but like,
I've
this
seen the
squirrel.
A little much.
It was. And it like set up camp outside my window, so I just like shan't be going out there anymore.
You'd not be opening that one again.
Yeah.
You're gonna wake up and he's gonna be out the window just like, no!
Every time I open the blind, he's like, well, waiting.
One eye staring at you, just waiting. Bushy tail.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. I too have been attacked by squirrels.
I recall.
I know their horror.
I recall. Although that one actually climbed up you.
That one climbed me, yeah. It was...
But
it
the
was
only thing climbing you like nowadays.
traumatic. Honestly, that's fine. I don't need fucking squirrels climbing me. That was horrific.
You could just let them, like, clamber up onto you when you
No,
leave.
I've been climbed by a squirrel before. I'm not repeating that experience.
Yeah, so you're well versed.
It was terrible.
The squirrel needs.
You ever felt the little squirrel feet climb up your body? Ugh. God, their scratchy little claws. It's horrific. And that squirrel chased me from, like, the woods. Like, it ran a long ways to get to me. And
Yeah.
I will never be fully recovered. I've never been the same again.
You were calling to it because
I
you
was
thought it was so
not.
cute. Yeah, you
No,
were
I
like,
wasn't. Because I've been
look at
curled.
the cute little squirrel as it like ripped your face off.
Yeah. As it's just like, coming for me. This is not about my squirrel. This is about your squirrel.
Okay, well,
It's
enough
your
about
turn
me.
to have the squirrels.
How's your adult thing going?
I'm
Ginger?
sitting through the next 3 or 4 days with a single contact because I took mine out last night, as I do every night of my life for the last 10 to 15 years. And this morning, we woke up and there was a contact on the floor of the bathroom, suspiciously. Now, it only was there for like 6 hours-ish, but, she was pretty crinkly. She was pretty crinkly.
Literally a
It was
strip
a
of
ball.
contact.
It was a ball. And I don't know how it became a ball, like somebody probably stepped on it or something. Who knows?
Probably after you threw it on the floor and then proceeded to step all over.
Yeah, I probably like backed into it or something. So now I have one contact for the next 4 days because I have not learned to pack extras yet, even though it's been 10 to 15 years of wearing contacts regularly. And I'm probably going to get an eye infection because I put that back in. So, I'm going to be blind by next week.
This sounds like the perfect advertisement for LASIX.
Literally. Get LASIK so you don't have to scrape your contact off the bathroom floor and then jam it back in your eye. I'd just like to disclaim that
You're
was
welcome,
cleaned.
LASIX.
It was cleaned. It was no longer crinkly. But it was on the floor. I don't think it's gonna be that clean from the contact solution.
Likely not, no.
In the bathroom too, so that's nice.
Well, I literally just cleaned the bathroom. But...
I hope so. There'll be bleach in there then. Anyway,
moving on.
So we're doing great. Thanks for asking. Everything's going so well.
Not that anyone did.
Not that anyone cares. So we're going to talk today about our favorite show / book and review it, right?
I wouldn't call it a favorite,
When
but we're going to talk about Game of Thrones to
say
put more context in there.
favorite.
So, as this is our first episode, we didn't want to be like too amazing,
Okay.
but we didn't want to be totally shit. So,
It's
what we're
not
going to
finding the
review
middle ground.
today is Game of Thrones. So, some of you
Perfect.
like it, some of you don't. We're pretty much on the fence here. We got
This
some...
is the perfect topic for this because a lot of it is amazing and a lot of it is shit.
Yeah, it's like
So,
a happy medium of
it's-
just like fuckery.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. A happy medium of fuckery. Game of Thrones. So let's start with the nice things. Let's start with what we liked about the show and the books.
Daenerys, the actress, was fucking amazing.
Jon
par.
Snow, also amazing.
Yeah, Kit Harington
10
is
out of 10.
quite the stud.
And the guy that plays Robb Stark, he's not in it for very long, but wow. He's very good.
So aside from objectifying all the actors
He's
and
a good
actresses,
actor.
Arya's character was like hands down like fucking
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, she was great. And she even got to survive, which is nice. Like,
She did survive,
you know,
and
that's
like
a nice touch. I like when my characters
the acting was
survive.
also just like amazing.
I know. She's like such a good little psychopath. You know? My favorite little psychopath.
Gold star for you.
Gold star for you. Gold star for you. Nothing for Joffrey. He gets nothing.
I mean, he did a good job choking,
Yeah. And he was a psychopath. So
and he like did a good job of like everyone hating him.
oh god, yeah. He was like
He
the worst.
nailed that.
Like the most hateful character ever. God. He did a good job.
So acting was like pretty great.
The acting was so good.
The world itself is pretty great.
It's
like
so
I do like the
detailed.
storyline of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
The overall concept is very well done.
I really like how it's like, you know, so much interesting stuff has happened in the past, you know, like 20 years ago, and then
That he
it's
wrote a book about the not so
Yeah.
interesting stuff in the future.
and then it's
well
still,
done, George. We
it's-
saw what you did there.
It's still affecting like their current world though, so like it's really cool to just see these echoes happening and be like, oh, and like slowly like reveal the mystery of like, oh, Jon Snow's parents, oh, Daenerys, whatever, prophecies and all that stuff. And plus Daenerys is like such a good character. Like watching her and Jon Snow grow from like being these kind of, Jon Snow was never that useless, but like kind of useless, kind of scared kids to like fucking killing it, like
As
was
kids,
awesome.
still. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, they were kids, still kids. But like they just morph throughout the series into being just like the most kick-ass characters, and it's like it's just beautiful to watch. It's so satisfying.
I don't know. Did Jon Snow really like change that much throughout though? Like it's
Yeah.
not like he wasn't that like.
Because he started off being like this pompous little prick, you know, like he was all thinking he was like better than everyone else. 'Cause he's like, oh, I shouldn't be, you know, whatever servant. I deserve to be a ranger because I'm such a good swordsman. Blah 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 blah. Which I mean, to be fair, he was right. But then the other guy was like, yeah, these guys are like actually peasants, so shut the hell up and stop feeling sorry for yourself. They have it harder than you.
I thought he was just trying to become a ranger so he could like look at her, like look for his uncle.
No, his uncle wasn't missing yet then. Because he went to the wall with his uncle, and then his uncle left. And he wanted to be a ranger because he thought he deserved to be a ranger because he's so good, right? I mean, again, he's not wrong. He is very good and deserves to be a ranger. But
I set him up. Y'all know who Ginger crushes on.
yeah, what the fuck was that?
I did it backwards.
I'm so hurt, so burned.
Anyways.
But like, he did change because he went from like being kind of just like a whiny kid that's just like, oh, everything sucks, and then all of a sudden he turns into like this great leader that, you know,
And like I guess
brings everyone
I feel
together
like
to
Samuel
stop the
Tarly
freaking...
had a little more character development than Jon Snow did.
I mean, yeah, but like I don't like him as much.
Right. He wasn't the stud.
Jon Snow like kicks ass at every opportunity he gets, you know. Plus he has all the confliction with it being not wanting to be in the watch, but then he needs to be there, and it's just great.
You're in it for the sex scenes.
I mean, those were okay. The ones with him were good. I like those ones. Some of the other ones were a little pervy, but you know. The ones with Tyrion were just a little disturbing sometimes. They weren't bad, but like some gross stuff was said. that I did not need to read. I did not need to have those words put into my brain.
We're going into the books. I was like, I don't recall any from the show.
Well, yeah, I guess we're kind of talking about a little bit both with this.
Yeah, the book sex scenes were, like, pretty raunchy.
Yeah,
like,
just graphic.
Even the TV show was, like, pretty detailed sex scenes. Like, it was a porno, but, like, it actually had a story. So, like, Pornhub, take notes.
Yeah, get on it.
100%. Like, I would watch more porn if it was like that. But...
And with good acting, too, like...
It was, like... way out there for sure, but the books was like a totally different level.
It's another level.
It's like just something a little wrong with George.
Yeah, just a little bit off. Like I wouldn't want to be in a room with him.
They
all I'm saying, you know.
They were quite young, definite children.
Yeah, that's rough. That's pretty much as bad as it gets, actually. That's
not
ultimate.
To add to it, the like sex scenes were like pretty out there.
Yeah, and pretty graphic. You know, just was like, wow, that's a lot.
I like skipped most of them.
I started to skip them. Like I was just pushing through because I never stopped reading books, and I was like, you could skip this page. Like you could just skip this. It's fine. You're not gonna lose any story if you don't read about this.
There's nothing valuable there.
No, I don't need to read this. And like there's nothing wrong with having sex scenes in a book. But like, it doesn't need to be gross. I don't want to read. I don't want to read it and then feel violated afterwards just from reading it. And also, yeah, I would like the characters to be like adults, because
legal.
My bare minimum requirement.
I get that it's
is
medieval,
for them
but
to be
like,
adults.
Like, sure, it's like set in like a medieval time, but like, don't go into detail, then, man.
And they don't have to be 8. Make them like 15. That's the youngest you could. You should never go under 18, you know, with these stories. But if you have to, because it's medieval times, blah 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 blah. All right, make them like 16. They don't need to be like actually a child.
Romeo and Juliet were 16, weren't they?
Yeah. And like you're a teenager.
Take notes, man. That was like actually in the times too.
Yeah, and puberty has hit by then. You're not like actually 8. Like how old is Daenerys in the books?
I think she is like 8 or something. I don't quite remember.
Between 8 and 12. That's all you need to know.
I thought Rob started out as 12 when the book starts, so she was definitely younger.
Is younger than that then, yeah.
Maybe 10, like 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Not that it matters, because it's all young.
Either way, yeah. It doesn't matter if it's 12 or 10, it's not okay. And then she also, like, gets pregnant right away, which, as, like, a 10-year-old, is unlikely and also horrific. And also, you'd probably die. You know? And then he marries her off to a, like, 30-year-old man. She's still 10. Like, what? What is going on?
No,
Why?
It's pretty rough.
Why did you do any of this? Why? I need answers, okay? And then, who else? Okay, so Rob is really young, but, like, there's no gross sex scenes with him. He's, like, 16 by the time he gets married and has a sex scene. We don't talk about that. You know?
He's still pretty young when he gets the girl knocked up.
He was, like, he didn't knock her up in the books. Right? They, like, try to get pregnant and then it doesn't work.
They die before it happens.
Yeah, well, she doesn't die, but, like, he tries to knock her up.
I thought she got pregnant with the kid.
No, he leaves to go to the Red Wedding and leaves her at home because he thought bringing her would be insulting.
Yeah.
So he leaves her at home.
Either way, he was, like, not 16. He was, like, 14, maybe.
I thought he was, like, 15 or 16, because then he was, like, actually officially a man in their world.
No.
Well, regardless.
Just, like, the eldest remaining Stark.
Yeah, I just thought that he was, like, somewhat an adult, so it was, like, more acceptable, because he was, like, 15.
They were, like, all children.
My god. Like, a 13-year-old is gonna be able to, like, oh, I'll just take my family off to war. Become the head of my household. You're literally 13.
I mean, 13-year-olds nowadays? No.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's like a different time.
13-year-olds back then.
He wasn't busy in the woods TikToking.
He would have been, if he could have been.
Pounding back them Tide Pods.
Yeah, Tide Pods. Choreographing a dance with the sword. But, you know, he was still, like, pretty young. Jon Snow, same thing. He's the same age as Daenerys, so he's like 8 when he goes to the wall. So that's nice.
Jon Snow was the
Thanks, Dad.
eldest.
Jon Snow is the same age as Daenerys.
Really?
Oh my
I thought.
god. Read them!
I thought he was older than Rob.
No, because Rob was, like, his parents got married, Ned and Witterine got married. She got knocked up. He went off to war. Rob was born. He came back from war with Jon. At the same time, the Mad King almost, like, died, and Daenerys was born shortly after, and then escaped. So all 3 of them are very close to the same age, but I think that Jon is slightly younger than Rob. Could be as much as a year. You know, depending how long they were gone to war and stuff. So, he is younger. But probably not by much.
That's fair.
Anyway, so that's an issue. That's a big problem. And, I mean, they were, like, young-ish in the movie, or, like, in the TV series, too. But, like, to a reasonable extent. Like, Sansa, okay, yeah, she's, like, 14, or 13, maybe, in the first ones. And the others are all, like, at least teenagers when the show happens. You know, so at least they didn't have them, like, actual, like, 8-year-old
But they had no
children.
choice. Could you imagine if it was all children?
Kidding. No one's gonna watch that. Why would you even write that book? No one wants to read a book about, like, an 8-year-old that takes over the world and then...
He wanted to read about it.
Oh. Yeah. It's like... Buddy. This is a big problem. Do we need to, like, look into this? What's wrong with you? Somebody needs to go through your history. Like, somebody need to go through your stuff. Like, what's going on here? Good God.
Yeah. So anyway, PERV, not the greatest.
Yeah.
The show was good.
We've quickly moved into the things we didn't like about the books.
Yeah. The TV show was good. Season 1 was amazing. Season 2 and 3, questionable. Like a fuck ton of walking.
Yeah, so much
Did
walking.
we really care? Did we really need the, like, 5-minute snippets from every character every episode? So every episode amounted to, like, nothing.
And that didn't stop.
Or relevant. No, it was like...
That was right till the end. They were doing that
The whole season was like that.
No, the whole series. I mean, that didn't stop. That was...
Yeah, but they got longer.
Yeah, it got better.
Like, it was literally minutes per person.
Yeah. And, like, let's check in with every character. Daenerys, what do you got going on today? I have my dragons. Great. Tyrion, still in jail, like, all the time. Jon, still on the wall, hating my life. And you'd be like, okay, next week you get to see what happens to them. What? I've been waiting a week to see what happens to them. Nothing happened. Oh, my rage was peaked some of those weeks.
Quite literally.
Peaked.
It did improve when they finally deviated from the books, but, like, that took a while. Like, season 4 or 5.
And, like, the season 3...
4, I guess.
Season 3, they were trying to stick with the book still, and, like, have Robb and all these Northern Lords running around, and include all of them, and all their storylines, and, my god, there are just too many. Like, there are too many for a book, and there are definitely too many for a TV series. You can't keep track of all these people. They just pop up once, and we're supposed to know who they are. It's like, what are you doing? So, once they deviated from that, then it was like, okay, cut out some of these fucking storylines. This is ridiculous. Yeah. It's out of control.
Pretty rough.
You know what was really rough? The way the TV series ended.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. Bran was clearly the logical choice. Quite wise. He lived for a few thousand years.
Yeah, he's gonna
Either
be there
a
for
tyrant,
like 4,000 years.
Or the best thing that they've ever had.
You telling me he's gonna just stay great for 4,000 years? He's not. That power's not gonna go to his head ever. Ever. In 4,000 years. That's a long time. People can't even handle being king for a lifetime.
But he's supposed to be wise beyond...
Yeah. So wise because he's looked through birds' eyes.
No, because he's like the...
Yeah, I know.
The old thing.
And they never even... Maybe the books have got into it, and I just am not there yet, because I still have not finished the books, because they're freaking long. But, like, he doesn't... It never even explains in the movie or the TV series, like, what his actual power is. It's like, oh, he has to go there and become the Three-Eyed Raven, and then he'll, like, save us all. And then a freaking dragon is, like, swooping down on them, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna be a raven now. We know what's happening, Bran. We don't need your, like, eye in the sky view. there's a dragon swooping down on us. We know the problem. We understand the issue. It's like, what is your power? Nothing.
It's supposed to just be like the... Well, like, he's not Bran anymore. He's basically just, like, the three-eyed...
Right, and, like, his
which
job
is, like, the...
seems to be just to, like, keep a record of, like, humanity, right? And what's going on.
But I think it was, like, the ruler of, like, the Fae, like, the...
Like those fairies?
Yeah.
Or the first men or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, but, like...
So now he's now, again, the ruler of the Andals.
But why do we care? It's so uninteresting. What a...
You're right.
What a just... story.
I just wanted me some good cousin sex.
Aunt and nephew, thanks. Get it right.
Whatever. Get me some of that incest.
Well, we did have one of those scenes, so, you know, that'll make you happy.
We did, yep.
Yep, just one.
Followed by some, like,
Tension.
familial murder.
Yep. Familial murder, regicide, that's nice. And it was very sad. I also feel like Daenerys' character, like, it was so frustrating to watch her storyline because
Well, they just, like...
she was, like, kicking ass at every opportunity, just, like,
It
all
was
these
such,
comebacks.
It was so random. Like, they just
Yes.
randomly were like, and tomorrow you shall
Psycho.
become a psychopath.
Yes, like, Daenerys was, like, killing it at every opportunity. Like, comeback after comeback, every season. It was like she could never be beaten. And then, finally, she gets to Westeros. They even beat all of the, whatever,
The
White Walkers. She gets
And
to
then she
Westeros
just murders.
and is just like, you know what? My character has been driven by my urge to protect people. I want to be the queen so I can keep people safe and be nice to them. And I'm now going to forget everything about that and just start slaughtering random people. It's not like she unleashed fire on like the Red Keep and like killed
No, she
Cersei
just
and all the
burned
people that
city
were like
down.
responsible. She just was like, you know what? That's a nursery school over there. Those fuckers gotta die. That's it. I've had it. I've had no more Mrs. Nice Guy.
Damn kids weren't
This is
sold
bullshit.
off to marriage at the age of 8 like me.
Yeah, exactly. So all of a sudden, and like, okay, the previous episode, we saw her like looking a little haggard because she was just like upset she was losing the war. That does not mean you go and snap literally the next day and then just murder a bunch of people. My god. I mean, it was a nice twist, I guess, but like, I could have used a little more build up.
It was pretty rough.
So her storyline was like so depressing because you just watch her like become amazing, and then all of a sudden she's like the best character. All of a sudden they're just like, nah, murderer.
You're now the evil
What?
one.
Why? Just I think it's just to fuck with us. That's my theory. Because the whole series the whole time is like, you know, just they like to do a sharp turn and, you know, blow away your expectations, which is like a good thing about it. But like, why? That doesn't make sense. Robb, okay, the biggest one is like when Robb gets killed in the Red Wedding. It's like, oh my god, no one could have seen that coming. But actually, like, there was many signs you could see it coming. It wasn't really that much of like, you know, slap in the face, told the sudden change. He just got betrayed. Daenerys is just like, meh.
He betrayed his word and they killed him.
Yeah. Had it coming for a long time, you could see it, but, you know, it was going to be a problem.
Daenerys was like an upward.
She was like, I'm the best person. I just want to protect people. I'm so nice. I'll be such a good ruler. JK.
And I'm just gonna murder.
What?
Fuck it all.
I mean, it made for, like, some really nice visuals, you know.
And the battle was fun. All
Really
that
cool
death,
visuals. But, like,
Dragons. Fighting.
yeah. But, why? Why would you do this?
I don't know, it was just too much. But
That was a big problem for me. And then I also was even more pissed because Jon Snow just got, like, shit on. You know? Again, he's had, like, all these comebacks. He literally came back from the dead for this shit. And then they're like, oh, Grey Worm doesn't really want him to be the king and he's gonna be pissed if you guys, like, let him out of jail. Okay. Why does Grey Worm have any say? Well, he's here with the Unsullied. Yeah, there's, like, a couple thousand of them. And, like, the whole rest of the country. Like, why do we care what Grey Worm thinks? He's literally about to leave. They could have just been like, yeah, Grey Worm, that sounds good. We're just gonna behead him. Go on your way. Don't wait for us. Yeah, Bran will be the new king. Push Bran on down the stairs.
It's not like
and
he wanted
bring
to
out
be
Jon.
king, though.
Bran or Jon?
Jon.
No, that's true. And that was the only thing that calmed my rage a little bit. Was that he didn't really want to be king.
Like, he got what he wanted, so...
Yeah, which is nice. Like,
Aside from banging his aunt on a regular basis.
yeah, he did have to kill her.
Lost out on that one.
That one's probably gonna haunt him. You know, both the banging of his aunt and also the murdering of his aunt. You know, he's gonna be thinking about those for a while. That's not gonna go away. Yeah, I was really mad at the beginning when we first watched it because I was like, oh my god, they didn't make Jon Snow king.
How many times did you watch the finale?
Just once.
Oh.
I was too mad to watch it again. But I was like, we made him king, like, had all this stuff happen for him just to send him back to the wall. I was like, livid. And then I would like talk to you about it a little bit, and you're like, well, he didn't want to be king. And the wall does not, like, the Night's Watch doesn't exist anymore because the wall doesn't exist anymore. So he's not really going to be, like, you know, a slave again.
He'll just live in one of the
He's just going to go live with the
wall.
wildlings. So I was like, okay, you know what? I can deal with that. That's fine. That's a good ending for Jon. Was Bran a good ending for King's Landing and the whole freaking country? I don't think so. But, you know.
There weren't really
Somebody
many other
did.
options, so...
I mean, the only thing that would have been stupider would have been if they actually went through with their democracy option. Somebody was like, oh yeah, we can just, like, have an election or whatever. And I was like, I will burn this motherfucker down. Are you serious? Like...
Someone's not a fan of democracy,
No,
I see.
I like democracy in our world. But for them to just be like, well, we have all these things going on, we live in a medieval world, etc., etc., let's bring out democracy. Like, no one that's in power has ever been like, you know what would be great for us? Democracy. You know? Let's implement
someone
that.
had to in order for it to exist today.
Yeah, regular people being, like, sick of getting crapped on. That's how you have a democracy. Not from, like, a king being like, you know what? I don't feel like having all this power. I'm gonna get a democracy in here. I think we could use that.
I suppose.
Exactly. So...
But it wasn't a king in power trying to do that.
No. But, like, you'd think somebody would want to be in charge. You know? And Jon, he wouldn't have wanted to be in charge, but he would have been good at it.
Tyrion would have been a, like, decent alternative.
Oh, Tyrion would have been good. Why did he use him? What was he doing?
He declined because he'd been shit on so much, I'm pretty sure.
He would have been good. They should have made him the king. I've got another thing to be mad about.
Well, before you lose your shit anymore, perhaps we should wrap.
We should wrap it up.
Indeed.
I'm gonna go stand outside and scream for 5 minutes. Thanks for bringing this up.
Isn't that the usual?
Yeah, it's like almost, what time is it? Yeah, it's about time for me to do that.
It's usually how I find you. Outside, half nude, screaming.
Well, it's winter now, not half nude now.
Oh. As if gingers care when they're on the hunt.
The fire of your rage keeps you warm. Got enough hair, it's alright.
The
Long
sweet
enough.
hunt for new souls. All that you need.
Anyway, so I think that was all we had to say about Game of Thrones, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, you were going to talk about the history book a little bit.
I feel like there's not a lot to say.
Not
We're very
really.
disappointed,
It's
George.
pretty
You
boring.
chose not to finish your book series and write this very, very beautiful history book. But, like, if I wanted to read a history book, I would read, like, a real one. Not one that's, like,
yeah.
about a fantasy world.
Just made up out of your own brain.
Yeah.
Just
like,
nonsense, literally.
some of the, like, background that you always allude to and never fucking explain. Like, not once. That's maybe, like, a smidgen
Not once.
interesting as to, like, what the fuck you were actually talking about. But I can give a fuck about every single line of Targaryen that took the throne and just fucking murdered and
raped their way through Westeros.
Good lord.
I took a brief glance at it. I agree. The art is really nice, but like, wow. There's a section on whoever's 6 mistresses and their stories. What? Why do we care?
Which is mentioned briefly, but like, if it was important, like, just put it in the fucking book, man.
You put everything else in the book that wasn't important. You could have fit that in.
Exactly.
Honestly, we're lucky that the whole book series is not just a history book, because there is so much stuff in that series that doesn't need to be in there. It's crazy. Like, there's a whole chapters about Theon's uncles who never make an appearance again in the books. You know, you get this whole chapter on, like, his uncle, whichever the one that's really religious.
I mean, that was just meant to be character building.
I don't need to know about
So
this
maybe
character,
calm
though.
shit a little bit, but
I don't need to know about this character. He's not useful. He doesn't come up in the story again. Like, it's
Yeah,
part of
when
his
he,
world
like,
building, but it's just
when
excessive.
he tries to become king.
Yeah, and fails. And then we never talk about him again.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have even known who he was without that single chapter.
But I don't care who he is. And
But
still don't.
So you're gonna bitch about him giving you details about this guy who shows up to become king, and then if he hadn't, you'd be bitching about how you didn't even know who this random fucker was that
But
just
I don't
showed up
care.
to be king.
But it's not Euron, the one that actually becomes the king of Pike. And
No.
actually tries to become the king of Westeros.
But you knew
And
the,
help
like,
Cersei.
you
It's
knew
like
the
his
sister.
brother. It's not his sister. That's
like, you knew the daughter, and then you knew Huron already, so
Yeah.
they just gave you more info about the priest.
the 2 other brothers. And a big detailed chapter about their lives. Like, I give a fuck. A brief,
Maybe you're just not the fan that
You know
these
what?
books are meant for.
a brief mention would have been sufficient to tell me everything I need to know about this guy. Okay? Not a full chapter of this bullshit.
Okay, Ginger. Got it.
Same as many other parts of the book. A lot of extra details, George. A lot of extra details. We could be cutting these things down considerably.
Like, all the raunchy sex. All of it can go.
It can all go. A lot of the stuff in Bravos, that can go. Like, Arya's there for fucking 2 books. That's enough of that.
I mean, some of it was pretty rough and, like, boring, but I did like
it's
part of the Bravo stuff.
Like, some of it is relevant to her story, but a lot of it, when she's like Cat and she's selling the frickin' mussels or whatever, and then they're talking about all these people that she meets and like the family that she helps sell whatever these fish are for and their detailed lives. It's like, okay, is this relevant? Do I need to know? Can we just get back to Westeros and the main story? What the fuck are we talking about here?
Just likes detailed character development.
I know. And I'm not saying detailed character development is a bad thing. It's really good for building his world, really sucking you in, but like, you know, it's just a bit much. You could rein it in a little bit. They're very long books. Not long as in long, lots of words. Long as in just like, can we get to the end of the story here? Like, holy crap.
Doesn't shoot me. This is long.
But no, we can't because he hasn't written it yet because he was too busy writing a history of Westeros. Thanks.
That is true. I think I'm kind of moved on from that, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna give up.
Yeah, I don't think... Like, maybe I'd finish them eventually, but... There's no point in reading them now when there's no new book out, and it's written... Like, the TV series is already done up to the point of the books. You know? You're not gonna learn anything new.
True.
Anyway, that's my, rant on the...
Yeah, you good? I'm done? Wrapped it all up there?
I mean, I still gotta go do the scream later, but yeah.
Well, let's let this Ginger go off and scream and murder some souls to feed upon tonight, as is her ritual.
Get rid of some of that angst.
Well, we reviewed Game of Thrones. We gave Lasix a new commercial ad.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Call me.
No one's gonna want that modeling.
The Lasix commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could at least get someone attractive.
Well, they could at least get my story, though. I deserve to be paid something. It's my story. I'm the one who put the crunchy contact in my eye.
I'm the one that's gonna need Lasix now.
I'm the one that's getting the fucking eyeball replaced. Come on. Give me something here.
Not sure how that's how the internet works.
I something. I just want something, okay?
Well,
I'll be on the testimonial page, you know.
I didn't use this,
Never
but I
again,
recommend it.
Never again will you need to pick your crunchy contact off the floor and jam her back in your eye. Because you're on a trip and you have no contacts.
I think you're pretty free to go and write those reviews yourself.
Yeah, but I want to be paid for it.
Okay, well, anyway.
That's an important detail. The most important
maybe
detail.
you can add some screams for Lasix when you go out there. Hopefully that scares away the squirrel, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, well, thanks for watching.
Okay, like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and leave us a comment about your thoughts on Game of Thrones. Good, bad, terrible, did you love it? I still love it. I still love them.
I do not. It's just like too much. It's like a roller coaster.
It's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of hate and a lot of love. Because I read them and I'm like, this is so good. But then, like, the good parts, I read them and I'm like, this is amazing.
Okay, well, yeah.
And the bad parts, I get to, and I'm like, this is so bad! And so many bad parts.
Put your fucking scarf on, bitch.
I'm trying!
Beach. Okay, well, new looks. Probably a good idea to cover that face.
I'm so happy we're gonna have video proof of how mean you are to me. Every day.
You speak as if we talk to each other every day. I don't have
We
time
do.
for you. I don't have you as a gold heart on Snapchat.
Yeah, it's red.
No, it is gold. Because we do talk every day.
Oh.
Idiot.
What's the red ones?
When you just talk to them often. The gold is like the hardest one to get because it means you have to talk to them every day consistently.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's not gold on mine.
It changes.
It's just a big pile of poop.
Right. Real mature. How's that adulting going? Oh,
Is
not well.
Is that what you're here for? Is that what we're here for? Maturity? I don't think it is.
Yeah. I'm literally going to talk about how immature George R. Martin.
Rich, come over you. I really want to go grab your scarf and just strangle you.
And take 3 of just testing out the fucking view.
Isn't that fun? This is the hardest part of the whole thing. Besides
Setting up our weird ass contraption to hold the camera. Yes. So
Yes.
fun.
This is the...
Did you leave any room?
No!
Fatty? Fucking Shamu over here.
Hair all over you, you fucking animal. God.
Oh, really? My hair? It was my hair.
I didn't say it was your hair.
Mm-hmm.
I just said it was hair. The Lord of the Rings. So...
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.